20 years ago, a small but determined group set out to make serving in the Israeli Defense Forces a little bit easier by sending pizzas to soldiers on guard at checkpoints. Now, fast forward to today, and this group, now a major non-profit organization, does way more for our military than just feed them. Well, joining me today in the studio to tell us how we can help as well is David Landau, the founder of Standing Together, and Ali Foul, the assistant director of Standing Together and an Israeli advocate. All right, well, thank you both so much for coming in. Now, tell us a little bit about this organization. What do you guys do? What's your mission?
Well, 50 years ago, I came to Israel as a volunteer during the Six-Day War. And I was so taken by seeing people on street corners setting up little tables with drinks and sandwiches, and soldiers coming back and forth wherever they're going and just taking something to eat because they're rushing to another base, to go to the front, to the battle lines. And I was so moved by this. When I came in Aliyah 40 years ago, I remembered this feeling about the soldiers needing that little extra support, letting them know that people care about them. And
this is when pizza came into the picture, right?
Right. So I was leaving Rachel's tomb one evening, and I see a young soldier standing there with his gun, and he looked really scared. Alone, no one else with him, no fences, no walls around him, just standing there with his gun. And I really felt bad for him. I went out, I bought some pizza and drinks. I came back, I said, "This is for you." He says, "Why?" I said, "I want to thank you for what you're doing." He said, "I'm doing my job." And that was his answer. He looked at it, he's doing his job. But he realized that people care about him. And that's how Standing Together started.
So at first you started with handing out pizzas, right, to these soldiers, but then it kind of morphed into something a lot larger. Tell us kind of what is the work that you guys are doing now?
Well, we originally started with traveling around with a little red bag of like 4 or 5 pizzas, whatever, and giving them out. And then we found that people wanted more. They wanted more conversation. They wanted to know that people really cared about them. So someone donated a truck to us that people were able to stop by the truck, open up the trailer that we have, put the pizza up, and get it hot. The red bags never worked out well. And we began to serve drinks and ice cream. And then they wanted more. They wanted to know that people were more interested in them, just not handing a big pizza and saying goodbye. So we began to make sandwiches, meat sandwiches. We had ice cream sodas, ice cream.
Now, at that point, I mean, you're kind of just dealing with every soldier. There wasn't necessarily a specific focus on people who are coming from perhaps poorer backgrounds, people whose parents are living abroad and might be, you know, visiting, or not visiting soldiers.
Lone soldiers.
Lone soldiers, there's the word. But now it's extended, and now you really are focusing on helping those in need as well, right? Maybe Ari, you can tell us a little bit about that.
I'll just tell you a little bit. Is that in 2006, my unit was in Lebanon, and we came back exhausted, broken a little bit also emotionally, and we crossed over the border. Nobody came up to the border. And this trailer comes in right here. This is what it looked like. It's exactly this trailer. Drove up to the border, opens up the back, and starts giving us everything from new clothes to ice cream. We had pancakes, you know, baked on the truck fresh. It really put all our motivation back in a fraction of a second. So our motto is wherever IDF soldiers are, we'll be there for them.
Beautiful. And now Rosh Hashanah is coming up, right? So this is the Jewish New Year. It's a very big holiday. Not every soldier has their parents here in the country. Not every soldier can necessarily afford to kind of have an extravagant big meal. So what are you guys doing?
So, I don't know if you saw the news the last couple of days. There were articles about soldiers who are not going home because they want to be a financial burden on their families.
Okay.
There are soldiers who who are forced out of their units because they have to go work. He said, this can't happen. The men and women who are defending Israel cannot be suffering on the new year. So what we did was, together with the army, we bought cards where the families can go purchase their own food and goods for Rosh Hashanah and don't have to worry about their financial situation. So right now our goal is 1,000 families right now, and each card is it's $70 per card. That's all it is. So the soldiers can go home and enjoy the holidays, you know, with their family.
Wow. So no, I guess my final question for you guys is, for those people who are watching us who want to help, what can they do? How are we able to kind of donate?
Well, they can go onto our website. The soldiers work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our website is 24/7 IDF. It's a simple
247idf.com?
It's www.247idf.org.
.org. Okay, great.
Now, another thing is that the commanders are like fathers to these soldiers. We get calls from the commanders that we have soldiers in our group which have no money. They don't have enough money for food for Shabbat, for the Sabbath, for the holidays. Many of these soldiers, lone soldiers, haven't seen their parents in a year or 2 years sometimes. So we raise money to bring their parents to Israel. So
wow, so there's a lot of different ways in which you can donate. I mean, whether it's, like you said, money, goods as well, I'm assuming.
Yeah, we have.
And the final thing you said was these cards for Rosh Hashanah, right? $70 cards, and that will help contribute to a soldier's meal.
It's family. It gives family a way to celebrate.
Beautiful.
The New Year.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming in. You are doing amazing, amazing work, and we're excited to see where it goes from here. And we hope that our viewers are paying attention and make a donation.